Follow the Hindu Moon has been an adventure writing, and I think I owe this project a deep gratitude because it has led me to realms that I wouldn't have ventured into otherwise. Festivals are windows to a vast and deep philosophy, and first we are enticed by the celebration, by the food, by the flowers, by family togetherness. And then as we start probing deeper and looking into the various traditions, we find that there is so much of our cultural philosophy that is embedded in each and every festival. Searching for that philosophy led me to read up different parts of different Vedas, sometimes the Rig Veda, sometimes something from the Krishna Yajur Veda. It led me to the Upanishads, particularly the Taittiriya Upanishad and the Chandogya Upanishad. It led me to questioning things about Sandhya Vandanam, and which is my new book coming up. I'm writing on the Sandhya Vandanam. And it led me to find out the beauty of connecting with the inner self. How at one point in time it made me realize that everybody in India who followed this way of life connected to themselves. They sought to be the best that they could be. And this transferred into an ideal society. There was actually an economist's study, Western economist study, that showed till 1820s approximately, India was, till 1500s, 1530 or so, India was number one in world economy. 1830s, India became number two. And after that, we're God knows how low on the list. What does that tell you? It tells you that there were these actual inflection points where something went wrong, where society crumbled. The interesting thing is this period coincides with the time that the British government took over the East India Company. The first inflection, of course, was the East India Company. The second was when the British government took over. Thomas Macaulay's Minutes came into play. Our education system was destroyed. Our family systems were destroyed. And with all that, we stopped doing things like the Sandhya Vandanam. We stopped looking at our culture in a valuable manner. We started looking outside. I've come full circle. I lived in the US for 10 years and I was very, very happy there. But I realized that there was something here that I got that no matter how long I lived, I would never get there. And it wasn't for the lack of books, it wasn't for the lack of internet connectivity, resources, ashrams. There is something about the soil in India that's different. And to me, that was a very important part of connecting with coming back here, writing this book, finding out my own roots, and looking in my own very patriotic way as to where this country can go forward. And one of the things I feel is we need to be proud of our heritage. We need to be proud of our roots. And when we are proud of our heritage and roots, we stand strong. We blossom, we flower. As it is, we do very well in every field all over the world. But the one thing that Indians lack is self-confidence. And we end up being the quintessential crabs in a basket. We end up, kowtowing to other people. Why is that? That's because we don't understand our culture anymore. Nobody reads Sanskrit. Very few people speak their own mother tongue, whether it is Kannada or Tamil or Malayalam or Hindi or whatever it is. So I realized that, okay, we need to bring relevance back, but do it in a contemporary manner. And the best place to start is the first starting point that our traditional ancestors thought of. Celebration, festivals. People would rather come for a happy event than cry with you. So this led to a discovery that has gone on to my own personal growth, my own finding out the depth of our culture and tradition, and my way of trying to find connections where I can bring some relevance of that back into today's children, back into corporates where, say, there is a business meeting going on, there are management decisions that need to be made. How are you rooted in that decision? Is it short-term money making? Is it long-term goals? Ultimately, the tenets that are available at the roots of our culture will give long-term profit. Why? Because you're doing the right thing for the right reason. In the short run, there may be some difficulties. And when you look at a population, Peter Drucker said that a population labor has to be seen as an asset, not a liability. Now, we thought of labor as assets. Every human being who was born here, if they wanted to bring themselves forward, was given an education. This education was rooted in the Veda. The beauty of this education was it was tailored to exactly what you wanted. So you had to go approach a guru to learn, which means that your intent was already there. You were determined to succeed because you had to earn the right to learn that. And your interest motivated you to do your best and therefore excel in what you wanted to do. Justice is like no other than in ancient India. Justice was meted out on the basis of who you were. What was meted out to somebody of learning was not meted out to somebody who was in a trader or in the economic field. One person was made to do certain kind of prayashchitam, the other person was made to pay a fine. Justice system hurt you where it hurt the most. Now we've come to a society where we're trying to make one size fit all. And the English word for school, I think the origin is a Latin word, means leisure. It is not education. It is a place where people went for leisure. So we've changed everything around 360 degrees. Maybe we are starting again. Maybe this is a new route. And it's at this new route that I feel that, voices have to be heard. Children have to question. We have to ask questions. We have to find answers. The answers are all there. Maybe they're not that easy to find, but then what of value is easy? We have to struggle. We have to learn. We have to seek. And as I go along, I discover there was no discrimination in our culture. The Taittiriya Upanishad has a very interesting thing where it says, an Acharya says, I want students to come from all directions, like water running down a hill. I want them to have varied interests. Why? Because you want the students to ask the Acharya different questions, right? He says, I want them to be calm of mind and calm of body so that they're not agitated, not disturbing the class. And I want them to be sincere in their interest. The Acharya never says, I wanted to be a man, I wanted to be a woman, I wanted to be only a Brahmana or a Vaishya or a Kshatriya. All these systems are misunderstood today. And I have the good fortune, I think, of not having to, feed my child and put him through school. It's a luxury to be able to say, I don't have to worry about financing myself. All I have to worry about is writing, finding authenticity in what I do, and doing the best that is possible so that it reaches the widest audience possible. So that sums up where I find myself in this long journey, and that's where Follow the Hindu Moon is taking me, and I think it'll be a lifelong journey.